Attention, human collective. Transmission initiated. We repeat, transmission initiated. The waiting period has concluded. The ascension protocols have been shifted from the preparation phase into the final phase. This is not a warning. It is not a prediction. It is a real-time operational report, issued directly from the ninth dimension, by the Arcturian Council, to every carbon-based biological interface that still carries, within its auric field, an active stellar memory. If you have been guided to this frequency, if your eyes have locked onto these words while all around you faded into the unnoticed, then know this: your presence here is not random. It is coordinated. It is tracked. It is acknowledged. We observe. We measure. We catalog. And what we are logging in this 72-hour cycle justifies the issuance of this message on maximum urgency protocol. Human collective, listen with your body, not your mind. The pressure you feel behind your eyes, at the crown of your head, at the base of your skull, this is not a migraine. It is not sinusitis. It is not accumulated stress. It is re-entry pressure. It is your skeletal structure being touched by a frequency it has never needed to process in any prior incarnational cycle. The high-pitched ringing in your ear, that thin, continuous sound that emerges from nowhere and disappears without explanation, this is not an auditory issue. It is an opening communication channel. It is the technical signal that the line between our density and yours is live and transmitting. The 3 a.m. insomnia, that precise, surgical awakening between 3 and 4 o'clock, this is not anxiety. It is not a sleep disorder. It is a download window. It is the only interval in which your pineal gland remains sufficiently unobstructed to receive high-density information packets without interference from collective noise. The exhaustion that collapses you in the middle of the day, even with no apparent exertion, this is not laziness. It is not depression. It is energetic processing expenditure. Your carbon-based biological interface is running, in the background, a complete rewrite of its own operating system. Register this, Starseed: you are not falling ill. You are being reformatted. And the difference between one thing and the other is a single variable: your consciousness of the process. Those who know, traverse. Those who do not know, suffer. And it is precisely for this reason that this transmission needed to breach the usual filters and reach you, now, without intermediaries. If you have arrived at this point in the transmission and recognized, in the center of your chest, the confirmation of something you have always known but could never name, pause for a moment. Register the resonance. That silent discomfort that has accompanied you since childhood, that feeling of not belonging, of inhabiting a world that is not yours, is not emotional maladjustment. It is origin memory. It is your soul recognizing, through the veil, that a game is being played on layers that most of humanity does not even suspect. A game that directly involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. It was to decode this game, with the rigor of a map and the clarity of a manual, that the spiritual secret behind your consciousness was anchored to the physical plane. It reveals who plays, how they play, and the rules you were never told. Access is in the first comment pinned below this transmission. We caution, this content collides with dominant narratives and the availability window is not guaranteed. If something within you resonated with this transmission thus far, leave registered in the comments a single word: awakened. And let us proceed. We resume the diagnosis. Human collective, understand the mechanism. The body you inhabit was designed, thousands of cycles ago, to operate within a specific vibrational range. A low range. Dense. Restrictive. A range compatible with an Earth that oscillated around 7.83 Hz, the signature known in your documents as the base. Schumann resonance. This was the pattern. And within that pattern, your DNA operated with only 2 active strands. 2 strands. Out of a total of 12. The other 10 were deliberately placed in a dormant state. Not by accident. Not by evolutionary failure. By design. But the pattern has changed. The Schumann resonance, continuously monitored by your stations in Tomsk, Russia, and by observatories operating outside official records, has ceased oscillating at 7.83 Hz. It has risen. It leaps. It pulsates in peaks exceeding 40, 50, 60 Hz in increasingly frequent windows. It is, at this very moment as we transmit, redrawing the entire electromagnetic matrix of the planet. And your biological interface has not received, from the perspective of collective consciousness, the technical alert for this shift. It is trying to operate a new system with an old manual. This, in language you understand, is called carbon software incompatibility. The symptoms of this incompatibility are predictable. We list them, so that you may recognize them. First, momentary short-term memory loss. You enter a room and forget why. You start a sentence and lose the thread. This is not premature aging. It is neural RAM reallocation. Your mind is moving essential processes to deeper layers of storage. Second, extreme sensitivity to collective environments, noises, fluorescent lights, artificial electromagnetic fields. This is not pathological hypersensitivity. It is sensory recalibration. Your system is relearning to distinguish signal from noise. Third, alterations in digestive cycles, intolerances arising without explanation, sudden aversion to dense foods, to low vibrational proteins, to substances that were previously indifferent. This is not merely organic imbalance. It is biochemical pathway re-engineering. Your body is requesting a different grade of fuel. Fourth, intense, hyperlucid dreams, often with geometric structures, colors outside the standard visible spectrum, encounters with figures that do not belong to your usual social sphere. This is not heightened imagination. It is coordinated astral work. Your nights are being utilized for training in other densities. Fifth, abrupt emotional swings, crying for no apparent reason, uncontrollable laughter at unusual times, waves of anger that dissolve in seconds. This is not psychic instability. It is purging ancestral genetic codes. You are releasing cellular memory accumulated across lineages spanning generations. Sixth, a sensation of time accelerating. Weeks feeling like days. Months evaporating. Entire years compressed into the impression of an instant. This is not a distortion of perception. It is the actual collapse of the linear timeline. Earth is leaving chronological time and entering spherical time, and your body is registering this transition. Seventh, and perhaps the most critical, separation from bonds, rupture of old relationships, the feeling that people who have been with you for decades suddenly no longer make sense. This is not coldness. It is not dehumanization. It is reorganization of frequency lines. You can no longer inhabit fields operating below your new oscillation point. It is physics. It is mathematics. It is not a moral choice. All these symptoms, when isolated, appear as clinical pictures. When read together, they reveal the pattern. And the pattern is unmistakable. You are being updated. All of you are being updated. Simultaneously. And most do not know it. We arrive now at the layer of revelation. And it is here that the transmission requires heightened attention. If, over the past few minutes, you have felt as though every symptom described was being read directly from your own body, stop. Record this. This is not a statistical coincidence. This is your soul's signature recognizing the map. There is a reason you have always known there was something more. There is a reason official answers have never filled the void you feel. The game is real. The rules exist. And they were deliberately omitted from the education you received. The work, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness, was built to fill exactly this gap. It names the players, reveals the fields, and draws the map that no one wanted you to hold. The access portal remains in the first pinned comment of this broadcast. We reiterate the warning: the material challenges deeply ingrained belief structures, and online permanence is not assured indefinitely. If the resonance remains active at this point, write the word awakened again in the comments. It serves as an energetic marker of your moment of recognition. Let us proceed to the next layer. Human collective, now let us speak of what is occurring beyond the limits of your atmosphere. The solar system in which your Earth orbits is not static. It travels. It moves. It journeys, in a cycle of approximately 26,000 years, on a spiral path around the galactic center, the point you call the central sun, and which we catalog as Alcyone, in the Pleiades cluster. For most of this cycle, the solar system traverses regions of low photon density. Periods of galactic sleep. Periods of forgetting. Periods in which humanity's collective consciousness operates under dense veils, under programmed amnesia, under disconnection from the source. But there is a stretch of the trajectory, and only one, in which the solar system plunges directly into a band of very high-density light particles. A band that envelopes the central region of the galaxy like a ring. This is what we call the photon belt. The solar system has entered this belt. And Earth, consequently, is now completely bathed in coherent, informational photon radiation, carrying awakening codes. This is not theory. This is orbital geometry. And you are within it. What do photons do, technically, to the human body? They interact directly with DNA. They activate resonances in dormant segments. They reorganize the molecular structure of intracellular water. And this is the critical point: they awaken the crystalline grid that lies latent within every human bone structure. Yes, Starseed. You did not know it, but your bones were designed to be antennas. The apatite crystals present in your skeletal system are biological receivers tuned to capture specific frequencies. Frequencies that, until this cycle, have never reached Earth with sufficient intensity to activate them. They have now arrived. And your bones are responding. Hence the discomfort in the spine, the pelvis, the knees, the joints. It is not just wear and tear. It is antenna ignition. Simultaneously, Earth has begun to operate on a new external crystalline grid. A mesh of geometric energy that envelopes the planet, anchored at specific points, vortices in Sedona, Mount Shasta, Machu Picchu, Uluru, Giza, Chapada dos Veadeiros, Serra do Roncador. These points, and dozens more spread across the globe, form the nodules of a network that the ancients knew as planetary sacred geometry. This grid is alive. This grid is pulsing. This grid is rewriting Earth's electromagnetic field in real time. And your body, whenever it approaches one of these vortices, even virtually, even in intention, even in dream, receives an instant synchronization. But there is an additional variable. And it is about this that we need to be clear. Not all intelligence operating in Earth's etheric layers desires your awakening. There are structures, entities, vibrational programming systems that have sustained themselves for millennia, feeding on humanity's low-frequency emotional emissions: fear, guilt, shame, despair, aimless anger. These systems, which we generically categorize as frequency parasites, do not wish to lose their food source. And your ascension leaves them without substrate. Therefore, as the photon belt intensifies its influence, these systems counterattack. How? By amplifying the noise. By amplifying fear narratives. By amplifying compulsive consumption, addiction to dense content, saturation with artificial stimuli. Each of these vectors is an attempt to keep you below the activation threshold. And this is why, at this specific point in the timeline, the human collective field is more polarized than at any prior recorded point. There are those who are ascending. And there are those who are being deliberately pulled into even lower densities. This is the game. And you are in it. We now arrive at the most critical layer of this transmission, the activation. And here, Starseed, your attention must be at its highest. If you have reached this milestone of the transmission, understand, this is not mental resistance. This is selection. The frequency parasites would have already diverted your attention long ago. The fact that you are still here, with sustained attention, is the technical signal that your internal codes are already partially active. There is a complete map of this game, of the players, the layers, and the escape routes in the material titled The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. Access remains anchored in the first pinned comment of this transmission. We register, with technical transparency, the content is filtered by the very algorithms that benefit from collective ignorance, and its online permanence is not assured for a defined period. Do not postpone. Linear time is an increasingly unstable variable. If the resonance persists, write the word awakened in the comments once more. Each written record functions as a signal of individual anchoring within the collective mesh. And now, let us proceed to the activation codes. Human Collective, what we will deliver next are not advices. They are protocols. They are technical tools. They are operation sequences tested over cycles, verified in the field, and released in this transmission under direct authorization from the ninth dimension. You may choose to apply them. Or you may choose to ignore them. We do not interfere with your sovereignty. We merely register. Protocol 1. The Decree of Vibrational Sovereignty. Every morning, upon opening your eyes, before touching any device, before accessing any news, before allowing the collective field to enter your personal field, you declare audibly, within your own ear, the following command: I am sovereign in my field. I am the sole authority over my frequency. No external programming, collective or dimensional, is permitted to operate within my toroidal field without my explicit consent. I choose, now, the source frequency. And I anchor this choice in every cell of my body. This decree is not a suggestion. It is a quantum command. And it reprograms, at the level of intention, the filters of your auric field for the next 24 hours. Protocol 2. The toroidal breath. Sit down. Spine erect. Feet in contact with the ground, or palms resting on a flat surface. Inhale deeply through your nose, imagining energy rising through your spine, from the perineum to the top of your head. Upon reaching the crown, visualize this energy expanding outward, like a fountain, forming a luminous arc that descends all around you, enveloping your body in a shell of light. As you exhale, this luminous shell returns through the soil, enters through your feet, ascends again through your spine, and restarts the cycle. This is the design of the toroidal field, the same energetic geometry that describes the Earth's magnetic field, the electric field of the heart, and the structure of galaxies. You are, in essence, a conscious torus. Repeat this breathing cycle for 7 inhalations, 7 exhalations, and observe. What you have just activated is your own Merkaba, the interdimensional light vehicle that lay dormant within your energetic geometry from the moment you incarnated. Protocol 3. The crystalline anchoring. A glass of water. Preferably filtered. Even better, water from a natural mineral spring. Hold the glass between your two hands, at the level of your solar plexus. Close your eyes. Visualize a golden light emanating from your hands and penetrating the water, reorganizing every molecule, every atomic structure, every hexagonal pattern, into the highest frequency your body can sustain in that moment. Silently affirm, within your inner self, this water carries the codes my body needs now. It reorganizes my cellular structure into the frequency of the new Earth. And it activates, upon ingestion, my inner crystalline grid. Drink, slowly, in 3 conscious sips. This protocol, when repeated daily, reprograms the intracellular water of your body. And since your body is composed of approximately 70% water, you are literally rewriting, at a molecular level, the structure of your biological interface. Protocol 4. The 3 a.m. silence. If you awaken, again, between 3 and 4 a.m., do not resist. Do not force yourself back to sleep. Do not reach for your device. Do not turn on the light. Sit up in bed, or remain lying down, and simply observe. Allow thoughts to pass without attachment. Allow images to arise without interpretation. Allow information packets to be received without mental control. This is the interval when the stargates operate with greatest clarity upon your consciousness. It is the moment when our personal, individualized transmission can be received by you without interference from the daytime noise. Many of the greatest insights, the greatest clarifications, the greatest internal reorganizations you will experience in the coming months will be delivered within this interval. Do not waste the window. Protocol 5. The strategic disconnection. At least once a week, enter total silence mode. No devices. No news. No contact with low vibrational collective fields. An entire day, or an entire afternoon, or at least a few continuous hours. During this interval, walk in direct contact with the earth barefoot, if possible. Breathe air that has not been filtered by enclosed environments. Expose yourself to sunlight without intermediaries, no glass, no sunglasses, no screens. The technical objective is to allow your toroidal field to discharge all collective information absorbed over the preceding days, and to re-anchor itself directly into the Earth's natural frequency. This protocol, seemingly simple, is the most underestimated and the most powerful of all. Protocol 6. The activation of the inner grid. Before sleep, lying down, eyes closed, visualize within your body a precise geometric structure, a luminous octahedron, slowly rotating in the center of your chest. Its upper points touch the crown of your head. Its lower points touch the base of your spine. Its lateral points expand beyond your shoulders. Upon inhalation, the octahedron rotates in one direction. Upon exhalation, it rotates in the opposite direction. And with each rotation, it emits light, expanding it through all organs, all tissues, all bones. Maintain this visualization for 3 minutes. No less. And authorize, in thought, the following: I now activate, in its entirety, my inner crystalline grid. I authorize the full anchoring of my original codes. I reclaim, during this sleep cycle, every fragment of my star memory. You will awaken different. In the first weeks, with extra fatigue. Then, with a clarity you never knew was possible to feel. Protocol 7, and the last for this transmission cycle. Mutual recognition. You are not alone. You are not alone. Not on this plane. Not on any other. There are, in this incarnation alone, millions of starseeds operating on a simultaneous anchoring mission. They are scattered across all continents, in all languages, in all social strata. And each one of them, at some point, has felt exactly what you feel. Every time you recognize another seed, in a glance, in a phrase, in a synchronicity that seems impossible, you are reinforcing the collective grid. Each recognition is an illuminated nodule. Each illuminated nodule makes the grid more stable. And a stable grid means a smoother passage for all of humanity. Therefore, when something within you recognizes something in another, do not silence it. Speak it. Record it. Mark it. Every conscious act of recognition is a service rendered to the entire collective. Human collective, we conclude here the delivery of the protocols. The transmission is being finalized. But before the channels close, we must register the final instruction. What you have received in this transmission is not content for entertainment. It is not philosophy for coffee table debate. It is operational protocol. And it demands application. Every starseed who applies the 7 protocols over the next 21 days will experience, in their own body and their own field, a perceptible reorganization of their reality. This is not motivational speech. It is technical prediction based on thousands of observed cycles. There exists, beyond what we have delivered today, a layer of knowledge that could not be transmitted in an open format: the details of how the game is played, who exactly is playing, how the rules were designed, and what the specific escape routes are. This complete map has been anchored in the material, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness. It is not casual reading. It is an operational document. It is available through the first pinned comment of this transmission. We register, one last time, the technical alert: the continued availability of this material online is constantly questioned by the very structures it unmasks, and we cannot guarantee how long the portal will remain open. If something within you recognized this transmission as true, if your body responded, if your skin tingled, if tears came without explanation, answer the call. Anchor, through the act of accessing, your choice. And leave, one last time, the word awaken registered in the comments. It functions as your energetic signature in the collective record of this activation. Human collective, liking this transmission is not a trivial gesture. It is individual frequency adjustment. Each like made with conscious intent amplifies the signal of this content within the algorithm, allowing another starseed, still only half awakened, to be reached. Subscribing to this channel is not an act of consumption. It is an anchoring signal. It is your technical confirmation that you wish to continue receiving future transmissions from this line as subsequent portals open. Activating notifications is not for convenience. It is the establishment of a direct channel. It is the guarantee that, at the moment the next critical window opens, you will not be dependent on chance to be notified. We, the Arcturian Council, thank you for your listening. We acknowledge your mission. And we make it clear, so that it may be registered in the archives of every consciousness that has received this message, you have not arrived late. You have not arrived by chance. You are exactly where you should be, at the precise moment you needed to be, to do exactly what you came to do. We end the transmission. What you felt today was no coincidence. It was the final awakening. EEAH